Hi, my name is Nick. I'm the lead developer at Accounting Add-ons, and today I'll show you how you can use DirectDebitsLink to record customer payments in bulk into MYOB and save you a lot of time. While MYOB provides the functionality to record customer payments manually, it does not provide any functionality to record it in bulk. In a direct debit scenario where you might have thousands of customers paying you via direct debits, it becomes hugely problematic because recording those payments into MYOB becomes a huge impost in time. This is where DirectDebitsLink comes in. The aim of this video will be to show you how to record those customer payments, as well as show you how easy it is to do it. This video will assume everything is set up correctly in MYOB and in DirectDebitsLink. There'll be a separate video that'll cover the setup process of those two software. This video also assumes that the invoices have already been created in MYOB, either manually or using the recurring invoice facility that MYOB provides. Now let's get started. This is the front screen of DirectDebitsLink. You'll notice the top band relates to direct debits while the bottom band relates to credit card payments. We'll focus today on the first blue section of the top band, which says Generate Customer Payments. I'll click on the first button and that will take us to the Generate Customer Payment screen. The process is broken down into 5 steps. The first one is to do a get data, which reads your MYOB data file and pulls all the information that DirectDebitsLink need into the software. The second step is to actually filter the invoices based on a few criterias. The third step is to enter the payment details. That includes the deposit account number, the payment date, the payment number. The fourth step is to select all the invoices that you want to pay, and lastly to record that information into MYOB. I'll click on the Get Data button and it'll bring up the Get Data Options dialog. You'll notice there's 2 options, one that says Full Get Data, one that says Quick Get Data. You should only ever use the Full Get Data on this dialog because that's the process that reads your MYOB data file and pulls all the latest information in. So I'll ensure that that's selected. I'll then click OK and I'll let the process run. The Get Data process is finished, so I can now click on Close on this dialog. The next step is to actually filter the invoices. So I'll click on the second button. It'll bring up a dialog that allows me to enter an invoice cutoff date and a payment method. The invoice date is there so that you don't include future dated invoices into the system. So if you've already captured your invoices into MYOB but they're dated into the future, you don't want to include that in the table. In this case, for today, I'll include today's date, so the 23rd of January 2014. And the next step is to choose the correct payment method. I'll choose direct debits in this case. I'll click OK and it'll list all my invoices in the table below. The next step is to actually enter the payment details. You'll notice an arrow pointing towards the right, and it's that section that you need to fill in. You need to enter the deposit account, and that should be the undeposited funds account. In most MYOB data files it would be numbered 1-1180 undeposited funds, but it might be different in your MYOB file. So I'll choose that. You can then enter the payment date, and I'll leave it as today's date for my example, but that could also be a future date if you're kind of recording the payments in advance. And the next step is to actually also enter the payment number. Now the payment number, if you enter something here, it'll be the same for every transaction that gets recorded, so every payment will have the same number. That might be useful if you want to have, let's say, DD and the date as the payment number. You could do that. Alternatively, you can leave it blank and MYOB will generate the payment number for you. Once the payment details have been filled in, it's time to select the invoices to pay. There's 2 buttons that can assist you, All and None, that are displayed on the left hand side. Clicking on All will select all the invoices, while clicking on None will take all the tick boxes out. You can also tick individual invoices by using the double click approach and double clicking on those cells. Now for the purpose of my example, I'll select all the ones from AZ Stationery. There's one more thing to highlight when selecting invoices. You'll notice on row 48 there's a blue row with little drop downs against each column. What they allow you to do is filter those columns based on whatever criteria you want. So for instance, if I just wanted to see a specific customer, I could click on the drop down, untick the select all, and just tick the one I want, which is AZ Stationery, click OK, and it would hide all the rows that I'm not interested in. Now keep in mind this filtering process doesn't actually dictate what gets recorded in MYOB. It's just useful to restrict what you're seeing at any one point in time so that you can work through what you need to do. For the purpose, I'll just revert back to selecting all the customers. You'll also notice there's 2 other columns showing up in yellow, Pay Number and Pay Amount. Pay number is used if you want to enter a specific payment transaction number for a specific invoice. You can enter that there. payment amount is used to vary the amount of the payment. By default, DirectDebitsLink will record the full balance due as the payment amount. If you want to make a different amount, you can also enter that there. Finally, above this table, you'll see a few interesting numbers: selected amount, total amount, selected count, and total count. In this example, you can see out of a possible $7,000 worth of invoices outstanding, the direct debit system will process $1,600, and that's essentially 6 payment out of a possible 17 invoices, or 6 invoices out of a possible 17 invoices that got selected. So we got to the last step. We've selected all the items, we've entered the amounts or varied them if we needed to, we've entered the payment details, we're good to go. All we have to do at this point is click on the fifth, click here to write customer payments in MYOB. It'll ask us if we want to back up our MYOB file, and we can say yes to that. And it'll ask us that it's going to export 6 transactions into MYOB, and we'll say yes to that. We'll wait for it to finish. It'll show us a log of what was recorded and potentially any warning messages or errors. In this case, we do have one warning, which is the fact that the customer payment number, the deposit ID was blank, and therefore MYOB will assign a default, which is what we wanted, so everything's good. Now, if you're interested in wanting to confirm that the payments were recorded correctly in MYOB, you can go to MYOB, go to the Sales tab, click on Transaction Journal, and click on the Receipts tab, and you'll see all the payments that were recorded. We've come to the end of the process, showing you how to use DirectDebitsLink to record customer payments into MYOB in bulk. You will have seen how effortless it is to actually run through this process. The next part of the puzzle is how to create the ABA file to send to the bank using this data. If you're interested in DirectDebitsLink, I recommend you go to our website and give it a download. There is a free trial you can use. You would have noticed it's also built in Excel, and the benefit of that is we can actually tailor the business rules inside DirectDebitsLink to do exactly what you need. So if you need the payment amount to be calculated a certain way, or the payment number to be calculated a certain way, that can be customized at a fairly modest cost. The main thing to remember is, if you need any help, feel free to contact us. I'm sure we can help. Cheers. See ya.